So I worked at EMI before EMI got split into Sony and Universal, right?
Yes.
And so I worked under, like, the main priorities was the Capitol Records stuff, because it was under the banner at that time. And I learned over there, like, this is where I was learning, not learning, but like, they literally thrust me into, my first project that I worked on was marketing Priscilla Renea, who's ironically, you know,
Muni Long.
Muni Long.
Yeah.
And I remember, you know, working on marketing stuff for her. I remember, but it was like I was doing stuff like that. And then I was working
were learning what worked and what didn't with the artists that they were trying to market.
Yes, exactly.
And you applied it to your parties?
And then I wouldn't say I necessarily applied it to the events that I was having, but I learned how a big machine market stuff, and how, like, because I was also working on Katy Perry records, and I was also working on Snoop Dogg stuff, and I was seeing, like, okay, I had this whole grand plan for, this is what we should do with California girls, right? And, like, this is how we should attack Facebook marketing, and then I saw, like, the bureaucracy of, like, how it is to post on Katy Perry's Facebook page. Like, you can't just, like, push a button. Like, it has to go through this copy approval, has to go through this product manager, and then sometimes if it's like a really big thing, like, the actual artist manager has to approve it. You know what I mean? And it's all this, but I saw the importance of, like, stuff like that, copywriting. I saw the importance of, like, having an ad budget and an ad campaign and what that looks like. And then I saw the importance of just, like, you know, just budgeting overall, and, like, having receipts and paperwork and all of that. I just really learned how I used when my time there, working there, to learn how to run an entertainment business
successfully.
I just would do it. I just did it in a smaller capacity, but I took a lot of the professionalism from EMI and Capital.
That is something that is how I behave in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I was able to build my company where I have, because when you see it from the inside, it's the confirmation that you needed to know how it works.
Yes,
right?
that's it. Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yep.
Let me ask you, promoters out here are struggling to get people to show up to the door.
Definitely.
Let alone buy a ticket and then show up to a door. What's your secret, or what is that, you know? Because selling tickets is not hard. Like, do you put it up?
Or do you mean it's not easy?
No, it's not easy. I'm sorry. Yeah, selling tickets is a very hard thing to do. I know it from doing 3 events, and they always sold, 4 events, they always sold out. But I mean, it takes a lot of ads. It takes a lot of, like, people think, you know, you just put up a flyer and everybody's like, I'm buying my tickets. You might that's probably 20% of the tickets. The other 80, you gotta work. So what's your strategy, and how are you able to win in that world compared to other people who aren't?
And do you feel like being a creative helps?
Yeah.
I would say it definitely does.
It definitely helps.
That's a superpower.
Yeah, for sure. But it's like, it's ever evolving, man. I wish I had, like, a silver bullet, you know, and say, like, because every year it seems like what we were doing last year, we have to tweak and we have to change. And
so we don't have to talk about this year, because that's still where you are. But give me a couple of years ago something that you noticed and something that you had to change. Like,
okay. I would say this. I would say, and now everybody does this, but I would say when we started, one of the things that we started like everyone else. Like, here's a flyer. We put the information on it, and we put sort of like what you would be expecting. Hopefully you understand it in the name, R&B only. But it wasn't until I started, like, filming the audience and not just filming, like, whatever was happening on stage and making it be about, like, whatever was happening or whomever was on stage. I tried to show people what the experience was like from a fan's perspective. Like, so I put a bunch of videographers in the crowd, and I said, you guys shoot
smart
what's happening in the crowd.
Smart.
And that is how I started to really, like, you know, create the ads, and, you know, like, I would have certain clips go viral and stuff like that. And I would say, like, that was, but like I said, now, I mean, for those listening, if you're trying to get into this, like, it's still a strategy, but that's not going to be all you need to do. Like, because everybody's doing that now. And there's just so many other layers and levels of, you have to think, especially if your event is, let's even back up. Forget filming people in the audience, right? Think about, you're trying to get someone to leave their house, leave their phone, get a babysitter for their kids, get some other friends to come, and because nobody goes to events alone.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's a lot of coordination to get people to commit to an event.
And they're gonna have to come out their pocket for something.
Exactly. You gotta, and then you gotta find parking.
Yeah,
and then
and
you
that
gotta,
probably
you know,
you gotta
or you gotta
charge
have or you gotta get an Uber if you want to drink.
Yeah.
You gotta. There's a lot of different levels of commitment. So then, for you to be starting your event, right, and starting a new brand and starting something, and have the audacity to charge for it, to me, is honestly insane.
Yeah, it is.
And I think that, like, everybody, a word of advice to anybody who's starting in the event space, I would say is, unless you have deep pockets or deep funding to provide some sort of draw that people would want to pay for, I would say 9 times out of 10, I would always suggest you make your first events free. And the payment is the ability to communicate with those people further,
Yes.
later. You know what I mean? Later down the road.
Access to them.
is
Access to
the
sell
access.
something to them.
Exactly,
email.
exactly.
Everybody's selling something. Whether you're a movie star, you're an artist, you're an athlete.
Yep.
Everybody's selling something.
Yep.
They have to learn that.
Yep.
Yeah, I love
so
that.
yeah, that's what that was our huge strategy in the beginning. Yeah.
So,
What's like
go ahead.
what's an event where you took a loss? Because you said you usually
How many you want to talk about?
well, what's one that made you almost be like, man, I don't want to do this anymore? Like you put up a
Yeah.
huge amount, you didn't get what you thought, or maybe something fell through.
Yeah. I mean, every arena show that I've done, I'm gonna keep it so real. Like, every arena show that I've done, we've done probably 4 arena shows at this point. Every one of them has taken an L. We've lost money on them. I mean, there's been nights where, you know, I mean, I've see okay, this is what happens. It's like, and a bit of this is ego, a bit of this is like wanting to challenge yourself.
For sure.
But, you know, you get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm selling 5,000 tickets in this market.
Yeah.
Okay, like, you know, I remember we did New York one time, and we did 3 nights at a 3,500 capacity venue. So I'm like, that's 10,000, like, plus. You know what I mean? Like, and we did it back to back to back to back in the dead of winter. So I'm like, all right, if we just, I'm not even, my goal is not to sell out the arena necessarily, but it's like, if I'm putting 10,000 people in this venue, if I put the same 10,000 people in this arena, it will still look good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and so I went for that leap, but it's like every one of those, you know, when I'm in a big concert hall at 3,500, my costs for that type of show is still expensive, but it's like when you jump to the arena, you're talking about like a 6x cost.
Really? So arenas are 6 times the cost.
I mean, yeah, if you're going,
Everything. Security.
yeah, just everything, like the cost of the arena. Yeah, just all of the other and then one thing you got to remember when you're doing arenas is that, like, these are places that are built for sports and sporting events. So I'm having to bring in all my you know, production.
Sure.
Like, and it's not just the screens, it's the sound, lighting. You know, I'm having to hire a rigging company because we got to look at all the rigging points in the arena, and then we got to hang truss, and, you know, and then don't let it be a union venue. You know what I mean? And if it's union, then you got extra fees, and you know what I mean. So yeah, I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars on shows before. But see, the thing is, how I've been able to de-risk and protect my business is because, sure, that might have happened. And see, the problem is when I've done that like multiple times in a year, and that's where I've made that mistake. Where
The
I was
large
like,
appetite.
Yeah, I've tried to do, okay, I'm doing 4 arenas this year.
We
But
just
then it's
talked
like,
about that in the office. Remember I said the large appetite for us is the hardest part when you like, how much can I chew today?
Yeah.
And then we don't think about that. Because we want to chew it all, but it's how much can I chew today? What am I built to have?
Exactly.
Yes.
And but a way to offset that is that, you know, I might have done 4 arenas in a year, and all of them might have lost money, but I have 40 something other 50 something other markets where I'm not doing that that will offset that, you know what I mean? And I'm doing it multiple times a year. So now it's like the new vision for what we're doing now is like we're doing one big arena show this year where, because it's our 10-year anniversary, we're going to do a R&B only and friends show later in the year, and we'll announce that and where that is later in the year. But we'll do one arena show, and we'll do like, 1 to 6,000 capacity venues throughout the year, so that we're just really de-risking all of the shows. So that really the way I want it set up is that if 20%, 30% of the room is sold, that's when I'm, in the black.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you feel about AI and like where that's gonna affect the event space? Because you know how people are even out meeting online. You got the Oculus, like you're really, you can have a whole entire party with people from all over the globe without them leaving their living room. Are you looking into that, or?
I'm absolutely looking into that. I've just thought like, how can you, back to automation, how can you automate different elements of this? Like, is that possible? But then I also realized though that while all that stuff exists, we as people, like, we still want to see people doing people things. Like, people still love to see real people playing sports against each other. People still, like, if you're into chess, like, there's still a world championship of chess. Yes. There's still that, like, people, if you're into music, right? Like, there's a lot of music that can be automated and, made with AI that sounds, it's very similar to like music that human, but there's no backstory. And I think that that's the thing that will keep human-centered things like at the front and center. Now we can use AI to help enhance the business, right? Like, I've started playing with using AI to help me make some of our visuals on our screens and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But it's like having an AI DJ or an AI host, you know what I mean? And just having somebody that, it's like, there's a reason that I have solely women DJs up there spinning at every R&B only show, right? We only have women DJs at our shows. And it's because they connect with the audience in a different way. You know what I mean? Because our audience is 70% women. So it's like when shout out to Tierra Monique, who's one of our DJs. But when I'm on stage with her and she's like, she'll say something in the middle of a record and she'll be like, yeah, ladies, you got to do it like this sometimes. You know what I mean? It's like no AI can do that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
They know what we talking about.
Like, and it's like that. It's like they be like in the crowd snapping like that. First off, I can't even do that. You know what I mean? So like that's why you need real people. So I think that like AI can help you with like your artwork, I even saw some AI like promo video that somebody did, and I was like, this is so dope. Like because it was an event that like created a world in like AI. You could tell it was AI, but they were promoting a real life event. And I was like, see, now this is how you can use it. You know what I mean? To fuel our space.
Gotcha.